and it was at Weber State University. It was for like a talent thing, and I just thought, screw it, I'll try it out. And I love telling this story because it's kind of cool. But so I show up and I just have a little boombox and my tape, and they're like, I'm just gonna sing some songs that I wrote, and they're like, cool. And it was like there was like two girls and one guy, and they're all just sitting there staring, and I push record, or not record, but I push play, and I just basically karaoke to myself. And I had to take in the vocals out because I had like a little 4-track recorder,
Okay.
And anyway,
so good.
yeah, they called me and said, hey, you're in. I'm like, cool. And then the other winner was this comedian, right? So the comedian goes up and he does this little like 10-minute stand-up thing, and then I come up and I just did 2 songs. That's all I did. Well, the headlining act was Stretch Armstrong. What's up, everyone? I'm Zach.
And I'm Matt. Today, we've got a super talented guest joining us.
That's right. Bucky Cash is here. He's an Ogden musician who's making waves in both the ska and the country scenes.
He plays drums for the MakeWays, fronts the Low Point, and somehow still finds time for his career in sales. Let's get into it.
Bucky, welcome to the show.
Good to see you, man.
Right before we pushed record, we were talking about this cool t-shirt that he just had
That is
made.
a great t-shirt.
That's right. Sexy.
Yeah. Let's see if I can stand up a little bit here.
Oh, don't do that to the people. Don't.
Oh, yeah.
You want one of these?
Modeling those on the social medias was definitely one of my lower points. It was just kind of like,
Well, man, you got to get out of your comfort zone, man. You got to push that envelope, dude.
That's it. So
yeah, no, that's great though. Like I love the MakeWays, man. Like, well, you're an old ska dog too. You were there during the '90s ska explosion. Heavily influenced.
A little bit later than some people.
Me too. I mean, honestly, my first gig as Hooray Hoo, I was performing to a cassette tape. And it was at Weber State University. It was for like a talent thing, and I just thought, screw it, I'll try it out. And I love telling this story because it's kind of cool. But so I show up and I just have a little boombox and my tape, and they're like, I'm just gonna sing some songs that I wrote, and they're like, cool. And it was like there was like 2 girls and one guy, and they're all just sitting there staring, And I push record, or not record, but I push play, and I just basically karaoke to myself. And I had to take in the vocals out because I had like a little 4-track recorder,
Okay.
And anyway, yeah, they called me and said, hey, you're in. I'm like, cool. And then the other winner was this comedian, right? So the comedian goes up and he does this little like 10-minute stand-up thing, and then I come up and I just did 2 songs. That's all I did. Well, the headlining act was Stretch Armstrong.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't know. I'd never heard the band. I didn't even know who they were until, and they had just got like a new CD out. Or maybe I did know.
At that time. Or
No. It was
Lollygag.
It was Lollygag. So I take that back because I believe I did know who they were at that time, but I didn't know them personally. I'd never seen them play, but I had 3 cassettes. I had Old School, then I had Insatiable, and I can't remember the name of that one, but they had that song GPC.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Give me a pack of them GPCs in the sack.
Yeah.
You have any course in the back? I love that song. Yeah. And then I Wish I Had a Ray Gun by Swim Herschel Smoke.
Oh, wow. Do you still have that one? That's one I'd love to get my hands on.
I don't, because I loaned it out and it melted on someone's dash.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I have the recordings of it on like MP3, but I do not have the actual cassette.
No, me too. I downloaded those off of one of the guys in the band had like a pretty rad blog for a minute.
Blurbomat.
Blurbomat. Yep, that was totally it.
Yeah.
And so I downloaded all of because I had the CD of, Burn, Swim, Burn, but I never had Wish I Had a Ray Gun. Like I never really even knew it existed.
Oh, really? Your introduction was Burn, Swim, Burn.
Yeah.
Which I had Lou Eastman played the guitar on that.
It was them, live, right? Because I did see them a couple of times before.
Oh, they were such a fun band to see live.
Maybe just twice before they called it quits or became Frog Lick.
Right.
Well,
Well,
was that just Lou from Swim that was
It
in
was
Frog Lick,
Lou
or was
and
it
Rod. Like
Rod Middleton, he had moved to San Francisco
Oh,
at
okay.
that
Oh,
point.
I didn't realize that Rod had helped start Frog Lick.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I mean, he's
thought
the singer, right?
he wasn't the singer for Frog Lick.
No, dude, that's his voice.
No,
It
it's
has
not.
to be.
What was his name? It isn't.
Randy.
Randy. That's who
Are
it
you
was.
serious?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We used to play with him
Yeah, we used
all
to
the
play with
time.
him all the time, man.
Yeah, we actually like Hooray Hoo. It was funny because I don't know if you remember the Jackson Street Junction in Ogden.
Oh, sure. That's the last time I played with you guys.
Yeah, Ted
Well,
Shoup.
not the last time. But...
Yeah,
right.
So Ted Shoup ran that joint, and he had this Battle of the Bands thing, and so we signed up, and Frog Lick signed up, and a whole bunch of other bands, and we won. They have like two bands that would play each other, so two bands each night or whatever, and he would just have it was like a
like a bracket head to
head, like a basketball bracket going all the way
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
and
really cool.
And they had the losers would have a second chance, so it'd start off with the winners and then the losers
bracket.
They had a losers bracket, yeah. Well, Frog Lick
gosh.
was the winner of the losers bracket.
Okay, wow.
And I don't know how they lost because
I think they went up. Did they? I don't know. I think they lost to. I want to say they lost to White Lightning.
I have never
that country band. It was a family country band, and it was Julianne and Derek Huff.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
well,
wow.
Then,
So you think you can dance?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
they're pretty famous now.
Yeah. I don't know how we must have beat them.
Yeah, we did. We went head to head against them, and we beat them. But the junction was kind of that was our
whole age stomping grounds.
The
VFW.
Hooray Hoo
was
we were the kings of the junction, man.
Well, I
for
take
sure.
that back. So they had the Davis County Fairgrounds. That was another place, but that was more Catfish back in that was like more of the like 96, 97 era.
Yeah.
Where we played a lot of the Davis County Fairground shows. But
yeah, I never played there.
Oh, it was such a fun, like our first gig playing at the Jackson Street Junction with Hooray Hoo. It was like Halloween. It was a Halloween show, wasn't it?
It was before he opened up the upstairs part with the big stage and the big dance floor, and it was the downstairs theater with the.
It was a theater, had,
chairs and stuff.
So we had this great idea because we had a percussionist. So we had this great idea that each band member was going to just grab one of them percussion drums, and we were going to start our show from outside in the parking lot.
That's really cool.
Yeah. What's that?
Did it work out?
It was.
Yeah, it was
great.
so cool. They had no idea.
Our drummer went up and sat up on the kit and just started playing kind of the drum riff from this song, a song called "Runaway" that's really percussion heavy. Mm-hmm. And he started just jamming out and just kind of laying down the beat and everything. And then we could hear him from outside, so we all just kind of basically started a drum circle in the parking lot. And then we came in and came in and we're kind of doing the train up through, because they had this upper part where there was a snack bar and kind of a big kind of an open area. And then you went down the slope where the chairs and everything were. And so we split up and started winding through the crowd from behind. And all of a sudden there's people coming out from behind playing all of the drums and and everything. It was really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of us. So Bucky,
this is about you.
This is us. I mean, because
I could sit and talk about all that stuff all day long. But it was such a great like time. Like there's certain moments of, it wasn't our peak for Hooray Hoo, but it was like the energy was just so raw,
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you take us back, Bucky, to the beginning? Like, where was your earliest musical influence? Like, how did you get started in music?
Well, like, do you want my earliest musical memory? Is that kind of it?
I mean, well, whatever you feel like you want to share. So, like we're usually like we lead up to like what was the aha moment, right? Because every musician has that like, dude.
So I mean, really, for me, like the love of music, or I'm just going to call it a lifelong passion. The lifelong passion for music did start at a very early age. And I think it's because when we were growing up, well, my parents, like, I always had access to music. Like we had the radio and stuff, and, we could listen to that. But like, I always had like one of those little briefcases that you would like opened it up and that was like a record player in there.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Like one of them had like disco lights on the front. And I mean, some of
Nice.
my earliest memories are of like just sitting in my room with the like my little
Vinyl.
briefcase. Yeah. And playing
Spinning records. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What
And,
was your first record? But may I ask?
My very first record my parents brought back from a trip they took to San Francisco. It was Eddie Rabbit.
Nice.
I love a rainy night.
Yeah,
Right
that's
on,
great, man. We have our favorite. We have our first two. So
yeah. So tell me yours.
mine was Autograph. Turn up the radio.
Oh my gosh, dude, I have a story. But I mean, this is the story. So I lived in Pocatello when I was a kid. I also had that cassette. I did not have that on vinyl. But I lived in Pocatello, Idaho, and the keyboard player of that band was from Pocatello. And my dad knew him.
Wow.
From just like, because he was from there and he played music. And so when I was I moved to Utah when I was 9. So I was obviously 8 or 7 or,
Yeah.
Have to look and see when that album came out.
It's about that. I
Yeah.
mean, how old are you?
I was born in 76.
Oh, okay, so
I'm 49.
I'm 50 and he's 51. So
yeah.
Okay, so we're all in the same. Yeah, we're all
a certain age.
That's right. We're all right there. So that's cool, man. That's cool.
So when I was a kid, I wrote a letter to this guy's name was Steve Isham, and I drew a picture of the band with my Crayola markers, and he never wrote nothing back.
Oh man,
I'm sure he was knee deep in all kinds of stuff that you get knee deep in when you don't live in Pocatello, Idaho,
and you're partying all the time. And you're like,
and you're riding the high of like a pretty big, moderate radio.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a one-hit wonder, but I loved that. I still love the song.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
What's your number 2 on that album though? Because if it's not My Girlfriend's Boyfriend Isn't Me, then
maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe that is it. Actually, like it's been so long, I don't even know if
My girlfriend's boyfriend isn't me.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love it.
It's a shame, man. It's a shame.
I remember I wrote Oingo Boingo had a fan club back in the day.
The Secret Society.
Yeah, and
awesome.
And they to join or whatever, they said just send a self-addressed stamp envelope with your name on it. Well, yes. I didn't know, right? So I sent a blank envelope with a stamp on it and had my address and their address. Just one envelope, not the envelope inside the envelope. I didn't understand that concept.
Oh, okay, man. Sure.
They still sent me a little flyer,
That's cute.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, they were very cool about it.
Dig it, man. I don't know what happened to my Secret Society membership card.
That's awesome.
But that
would be really cool to have now.
Oh yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Did you guys see them? Did you ever go see them?
Oh yeah.
But did you go see the reunion stuff or whatever? That
several
they just
times.
Did, the last one this past year.
We were at the last
several
show.
times. Boingo former members.
It was like 4 or 5 times I've seen them. Since in the last 10 years.
Right. And it was funny because I was kind of.
Yeah, he was
later to the game to kind of get on board.
I kept trying to tell him, dude, you really want to check this out.
I'd seen videos and the singer, it was just like, I just couldn't get over the fact that it wasn't Danny Elfman anymore. And it was just kind of, but then, it was like, I really thought about it and it's like, well, man, Sluggo's still playing sax, and it's still Avi on bass, it's still Vatos on drums, it's still Bartek on guitar.
Yep.
It's still, Carl Graves is back on keys. You've got, it's.
And they were just super fun.
Oh, man.
The singer did a fine job.
He was great. And you know what? And honestly, I would argue that you get a more authentic Oingo Boingo experience watching former members now because Brandon he's got the range and the power to hit those notes. Whereas, man, Danny's in his 70s now and he does, and just naturally doesn't have the vocal range he used to.
Sure.
When he was in his 20s and wrote these songs,
Yeah.
But Zach and I, both of us had that aha moment where we both kind of realized that's what I want to do. We didn't know each other yet. It'd be almost.
He's talking about the old Oingo Boingo, first of all. Yeah,
the original Oingo Boingo.
Right.
Sure. It was October of '89 at the Salt Palace on the Alive tour.
Yep.
We were both there that night.
Okay.
I didn't see them. It was that Boingo show.
The last tour
The
Like,
98.
the-
Oh, so
farewell.
95.
I think it was 95.
95
At
farewell.
95. Yeah, that's right.
At
It
the
was
Delta
95.
Center?
Yep.
Or-
Farewell show.
Well,
Yeah.
and here's a fun trivia fact. Oingo Boingo was the first band to play in the Delta Center when it opened.
Yep.
They were the very first.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
like the one shows that I wish I didn't ever get to see them play at, but I wish I would have been like just a little bit older, was they used to play at the state fairgrounds. Like when they first started coming to tour. Yeah. And that would have been
back in the, it was with the, in the was
early
it the
80s there.
Coliseum, right?
Yeah.
Because they tore that building down, but they used to play at the Fair Park Coliseum all the time.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah,
anyway,
that was
so when did you so you had access to music, and when did you decide like I'm gonna play this, like I'm gonna take it to a new level?
So my dad, I don't know about a new level, but my dad is like probably my biggest musical influence, I would say, just because I had the kind of rare advantage of like my dad always had a guitar around. He didn't play it very often, but it was always there. My dad, we always had a set of drums because my mom bought my dad a set of drums in like 1974, right after they got married. And so if you ever saw me play, in which you did because we played together, but back in the arrogant but nothing special days, I always played my dad's old like 1974 Ludwig kit.
So you're lugging your dad's kit around during the arrogant days. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah,
man.
and beating the shit out of it too, which is sad now, but
I know, but at least it got some life. You know what I mean? Like
No, the story of me as a musician really does start in my dad's 20-year high school reunion in Pocatello, and his band got back together to play, and I wasn't allowed to go to the rehearsal. But I was allowed to sit upstairs at the rehearsal. And so I sat there with my dad's acoustic guitar and just was kind of not doing anything, like making sounds. But then my dad taught me how to play the song Gloria by Them, which is Van Morrison.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
And then Patti Smith later kind of like pretty famously did that. But yeah, so I started playing guitar at 14 then, and then I just like taught myself kind of by ear with the chord chart, and then I started playing drums in my early 20s is when I really started playing drums, even though they were kind of always around, like I said. But and that's when John Post moved back to town from Oregon. Then he had a bunch of songs, and we just started playing together. Yeah. So I used to babysit him.
Right. Well, hey, you know what? My brother used to babysit my wife.
Is that right? All right.
Yeah. I'm dating myself a little bit, but yeah. So I'm 10 years older than her. So given your experience in both the ska and we haven't even touched, like, so you're the drummer of the MakeWays, correct? Yeah. And the MakeWays are based out of Salt Lake City. They're a ska band. You guys have been together for a few years now, right?
Yeah. I honestly, they're pushing 10 years.
Okay.
And I've probably been in that band. Man, I've probably been in that band for 5 years at least, I would say. I don't know.
Okay. So you joined in somewhere in the middle. So then you're not an original member.
They released their 2 EPs, and then their drummer quit, basically, to go play with Peter Breinholt.
Oh, well, I can't blame him for that.
Acoustic ska legend, Peter Breinholt.
Yeah, exactly. I like
You
Peter
Wear
Breinholt.
Flowers. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
Pete Breinholt is a legend. Well, I went to Highland High School, and Pete Breinholt graduated from Highland High, so he was a legend there. So Pete Breinholt, and then John Schmidt is another pianist. John Schmidt went to Highland, and then both the piano guys, Steven that plays cello, he's a Highland kid too, and he was actually a few years behind me, and played in the backing orchestra my senior year when I played my trumpet solo.
Okay,
so
very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. People
I love
that I've
Peter
come
Breinholt.
across that have So yeah, I mean, that's some legendary stuff. You can't really, if Pete Breinholt calls you up and says, "Hey man, I want you to come play the Skins in my band," you don't say no.
Well, it's as kind of as real as it gets for a drummer that isn't going to leave Salt Lake. That's going to just,
Right.
have a steady gig in Salt Lake.
We bounced a lot of drummers around in the Catfish days, and
sadly after Pat, oh my gosh, I had it. Pat Campbell died. And that was the Peter Breinholt's drummer.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't he he was a drummer for Swim too, wasn't he?
Oh, I don't know that. Is that so?
I think so.
It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know that. Do we have a research assistant?
No, I don't have that side, but I will dig into that and find out. But there was a member. I want to say it was Pat. Maybe, yeah. Anyway,
I mean, he definitely passed like probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's about right. So I bet it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we haven't even touched. So you play drums, and I've always known you as the drummer. And then when we booked this episode, you're like, "Oh, I could talk about my other project called The Low Point." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I did some digging on that, and I'm blown away, dude, because it's like a 180 of ska. It's not ska at all, And you're singing, and you're
right here in my heart.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but no, it's cool. I dig it, right? Because I'm listening to it. I'm like, wow, this is really good. It's like a country rockabilly, bluegrass Americana style upright bass player, slide guitar, who also plays fiddle. I watched the Van series. I know you said at the time that you had recorded it, but they hadn't released it yet. And I watched I think it was like a 25-minute set. I can't remember if you played longer than that.
Yeah, about five or six.
Yeah, about 5 or 6 songs. Phenomenal, dude. I was like, this is so cool. Like I just like picturing Bucky the drummer just strumming the guitar and singing country songs. So
well, thanks.
Yeah. How did that band start?
Wow, man. Okay, yeah. So back in the days of when I was playing in Arrogant, there's this other band in town. They came up from St. George, and they were called the Trigger Locks.
Okay,
and
I think that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're like still my man. I don't know. I don't want to try to decide between Stretch and these guys, but they're an incredibly fun band. Like great singers, great songwriters.
Sure.
Yeah. And they came up doing some kind of like alt country stuff, which was at the time was
different.
Becoming it was like becoming another little thing,
Right. Well, it's pretty big now. Like now you got rap and country, so.
Right. But at any rate, so I actually here's, I don't know if you know this name, but the name Dan Beener or Daniel Young, he runs Orchard Studios in North Salt Lake.
Okay.
And he also is a prominent local artist. I mean, he plays,
all over,
acoustic music, and he's highly regarded, and he's a really, really cool and a really good dude. And he's a friend,
Right. Yeah.
So he was the drummer of that band, but he was only 16.
Right.
And they were all adults.
Right.
And so
we've had that scenario as well.
Yeah. And so Dan got kicked out of the band, and I joined the band.
Oh, because I were his replacement.
Yeah. Yep.
That's funny. That's cool. You guys are friends though, still.
Yeah, I know for sure.
Yeah.
And so at any rate, so I started playing with the Trigger Locks, and I was always into just all kinds of music. I don't know, man. I'm like struggling to just keep talking on and on about myself, but
no. Well, I mean, it's all good. So
sorry. So Trigger Locks. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Trigger Locks broke up. I got kicked out of the band because I double booked myself, and I was an idiot. It's seriously one of my lifelong regrets, was getting kicked out of this band. Like it's up there with
you. Wait. You got double booked, and you said I can't do your show because I double booked this other show.
Yep. They were scheduled to play Brewskis in Ogden, and Arrogant was scheduled to play like positively 4th Street. you remember? Did you ever play there?
No.
So there was like a little like venue behind Positively 4th Street in Salt Lake.
Okay.
Arrogant was my band.
So you didn't want to diss on your band because you're
my band. So, but they said to me on the phone, they were like, "Hey, if you miss this gig, you're out of the band." And I was like,
yeah,
okay,
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Like I would have killed you and then kicked you out, but
right. Yeah. So they went on and then like about 15 years later, I started playing music with one of the members of that band, and his name is Matt Hansen, and he is also a musical hero of mine. And that project was called Honey Pine.
Okay.
And Matt was the creative force behind that, but we did play some like Trigger Lock songs too, just kind of some like leftovers. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one kind of fell apart, and then COVID kind of happened, and I just started playing with a couple of guys that I met through Honey Pine.
Okay.
And
that's who you're playing with now. That group of guys.
What became the low point.
Yeah. Well, they're all very talented. That whole setup. Where is that building at the Vans? I've been there and I can never remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's called the Monarch.
That's it, the Monarch. Yeah, I went to see it wasn't a wedding. It was like a memorial. I think it was like some sort of upstairs. It was upstairs in like this banquet kind of area.
Yeah, no, they have it's an event space, and then they also have
like a bunch of art.
Like art.
Yeah, the art gallery thing. It was like storage units almost. Like it's really cool. If you've never checked out that place, you should go there and check it out. Even just walking around and looking, you can like window peek into all of these different artists that do stuff and
those guys, they're called the guys that put on the van sessions are called the Banyan Collective, and they're just, I mean, you've seen the quality of what they're producing.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about my performances. I'm talking about like the video quality, the audio quality.
Right, they have the mixer guy inside the van.
Right.
And then they have cameras, like multiple angle cameras set up, and they do a really phenomenal job.
Yeah, and they're just doing such a service to the local music scene.
I gotta reach out to those guys and then have them on the podcast. I think that would be cool. So
yeah, I think, I mean, they're pretty damn busy. Like, you know, I think like one of them's a professor at Weber. I mean, it's all just.
Oh yeah, well,
like, this isn't your guys' job, right?
No. Yeah, no. If they have time, like, so
someday.
Yeah.
But just to raise awareness for them. But for those of you who don't know, we're gonna leave a link in the description on YouTube of this actual show that Bucky's talking about on this band sessions. But they go to Monarch. They actually drive inside the building through a garage or something. I don't know. But they set it all up, and then I've actually been there. It's a really cool place. It'd be a cool place to see a performance, and then and even cool just to go there. And they had like this little, it was like a bistro or something next to that. Like, I don't know if they're still in business or not, but they would serve sandwiches and drinks. And then
there's a new place there now.
Is there?
I think it's called Weller's. I haven't been there, but I should.
Yeah.
But yeah, first Friday of the month is when they are doing live music. But I mean, I'm gonna plug some people. Like, everybody should go.
I think Patty Caglia does something like an open mic thing there too, if I remember.
Maybe so. Yeah, he's definitely like really prominent up here in the Ogden music scene. I've never met him personally.
He was our sound guy.
He's so good.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
When he at the Lighthouse Lounge when he worked there.
Oh yeah, because I think he took over for John Turner. Maybe after John passed. I don't know if you knew Johnny. But
I don't recall.
Yeah.
But that was like Hooray Hoo's reunion. That was as far as a bar gig goes. That's where we first played our first gig, and
wow,
it was awesome.
Man,
it's a tiny stage for an 8-piece band.
Oh yeah,
but just big enough. Like any smaller, and it wouldn't have worked. But there was just enough space to, and in fact, from the first time to another time, we actually started splitting the horn section to opposite sides of the stage just
make
space,
more sense.
Because
it was Matt on this side and Dave on this side. So I was the set. Yes. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like this arrangement at all.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it was fun. I'm like, no, it wasn't. but
Horns
it
are
worked out.
surprisingly loud.
The trumpet is the worst.
The
Dude,
trumpet,
the trombone. Sorry.
Yeah.
trombone is loud, man. But trumpets brought down the walls of Jericho, baby.
Yeah,
So
I
wasn't
always
trombones, bitches.
Yeah, I always say the trumpet is the loudest.
Huh. You ought to know. I'm always just back behind the drum kit.
Well,
Let's
drums
not
are loud
kid
too.
ourselves. Drums might just be the loudest.
Yeah, well, we can debate,
Yeah.
but so let's see. You grew up in Pocatello.
Yeah,
and you said
I spent my formative years in Bountiful.
Okay, so I was going to say,
Bountiful.
I said Ogden, but you're actually so you were raised in Bountiful.
So where'd you
right?
go to high school?
To Bountiful.
You went to
Okay.
Bountiful High.
This is where you graduated?
Both of my younger siblings graduated from Bountiful. They're a little bit, probably a year and a few years behind you, but
and their names are Brett
Kim
Allen,
Kim Allen and Tim Allen.
Kim and Tim.
Yeah. Now that was fun growing up with somebody to call on the phone for, hi, Tim there?
Right.
Kim or Tim? Kim.
Right. Okay.
Kim or Tim?
Kimberly or Timothy? But yeah,
That's so funny.
Kim was a cheerleader and Tim played basketball. So
okay. I don't the name Kim Allen is like vaguely familiar, but like I don't
but Tim
how
would have
old is
been she was born in 1977, so she
so
graduated
just a year younger than me.
Yeah,
I would have been there at the same time.
But Tim was born in 1980, so he was several years. I don't think and in high school is only 3 years up there, so
yeah.
I don't think you guys would have crossed over at all.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man.
So on the MakeWays, you have a song, your latest release, I guess. It's not super new, but it's been out for a little while, but it's still fairly new. It's We Are All We Need. And when that was released, was that 2025 or late 24?
That was late 24, I think, is when we dropped that. I think
is that the one you guys released the video where it's like a house party in the backyard and stuff like that?
Yeah, but you did that during the summer.
It's the appearance of a house party.
It's the appearance of a house party.
I almost went to that because I remember Dave Matney sent out a flash like, hey, we're looking for bodies, to come do
we
this
needed
thing.
people, and not very many people showed up.
Really? Well, it made it look like there was quite a few, though. It actually worked out. I felt bad because I couldn't make it, but man, I was like, man, that would be so fun.
Yeah.
So that song's actually really well done. Like,
so Daniel Young recorded that at Orchard Studios in Bountiful, North Salt Lake. So
right on, man.
Yeah.
So is that kind of like your go-to guy, or is it just you bounce around depending on what way the wind blows as far as your engineer or dedication?
Well, Dan's somebody who I have referred people to, and I just think he does a really nice job. He's a really easygoing guy. He's got a really intimate setup and like a pretty good room for what he's doing. I mean, he does specialize kind of, I'm going to say he does specialize kind of more in like Americana type stuff.
Well,
those are the people that seek him out. But
he'll do obviously.
Sounds,
if you can get a 7-piece or 8-piece ska band, then you can pretty much do anything.
If you can properly record and mix horns, man, that's
right. It's a challenge for sure.
The one thing that was funny is just like about ska music, kind of in general. We were like, no, just turn the bass up a little more. He's like, really? Like, just crank the bass up. No, a little bit more. It's just, So Andy actually just had a session with him like 2 days ago. And so
does Andy does he do his own side project stuff too then, or?
No, it's MakeWays stuff. So we've got some more tracks started, and
cool. So you got some new tunes coming out.
He went to do some vocals, and in fact, I want to talk to you guys about this because there's a really cool, another buddy of mine is doing a really cool project called 4 a.m. Vinyl.
4 a.m. Vinyl.
Yeah, 4 a.m. Vinyl. And this guy's name is Eddie Steele, and he is not a musician, but he is he's just a super fan and really
music,
cares about
lover
the
of
local
music.
Scene.
Yeah, cool.
And it's like big supporter.
Sure. I like those guys.
He's almost always out, like, on every other weekend because
That's his
the
life.
kids.
I got you.
Yeah. But he started this 4 a.m. vinyl project, and the first release is this very Saturday is the release party. And so it's like a concert, a backyard concert, and then the vinyl is releasing. And
so wait, 4 a.m. vinyl, is that a band? Is that a label?
No,
what is that?
That good question. It's a project. So it's a passion project of Eddie's where he's combining musicians and local artists, and he's having vinyl pressed. So now he's got plans for 4 releases.
This is a record company, really. I mean, you want to peel the layers.
They're probably closest to a label, I would say.
Okay, all right, cool.
Which is
way cool.
Yeah, and
no, it's I dig it. I'm like,
yeah,
cool.
No, it's awesome.
So, Where's it at?
The concert?
Yeah,
it's at Eddie's. He has a property.
Oh, so this is a private event. Is this a private event?
I don't think so, man. I don't know.
All right.
Find 4 a.m. vinyl on socials. I don't even know when this is going to air. Like, if it's going live right now, I have no idea.
No, it's not live. I would have told you that. I would have said
would you?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I would have. Yeah.
Got him.
Well, this will be edited. Usually, it takes me about a week.
Okay.
To do so. They may come out next Tuesday. If not, then it'll be the Tuesday after that. Yeah. So,
okay.
1 or 2 weeks. So. But anyway, when is the release?
The concert on Saturday, the 24th.
Oh, it's this Saturday. Oh, yeah.
Definitely. So,
That's tomorrow.
But definitely.
No, it's not tomorrow.
You check out 4 a.m. vinyl on the socials. And
and the MakeWays are going to be the part of the 3rd release on that label.
Cool.
So, and with Atypical Heroes on the other side.
Right on, all of those guys.
Yeah, they're great. I actually just did a fill-in gig with them, and that was really fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you kind of feel like we're on the cusp of kind of another ska revival in the Salt Lake market?
Man, I don't know if there's ever going to be like.
No, it ain't gonna be an explosion like it was.
It's not gonna be like it was in the 90s.
No. There feels like there's some momentum happening, but like it feels also in the same breath. It feels impossible to get anybody to even come out and watch a band. So
I know the drama on that. You know what? You know what? This is what. And then I'm way off, but I think it needs a band that's just different enough to spark a new thing. So
yeah, maybe
like,
so.
If you're too traditional in the sense, it's like every ska band's been played, it's been heard, and I love it. I'll listen to it all day long. But until there's something like kind of fresh, new, and some whatever like vessel that comes in, I don't know.
It might be Latin. I mean, really.
Well, right now, if you want to know where the ska movement is at, it's in South America.
Sure.
Mexico. Yeah. It's specifically Mexico.
Really? Okay.
Is huge. It's huge right now. Like I'm watching videos on YouTube of some ska bands from Mexico that are like playing these giant festivals. They look like Coachella,
right?
And these are ska bands, and there's another
that's
guy
about to happen in American Fork in
yes, it is
2 weeks or 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're obviously you're going, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm taking my kids, and
there you go. I'm actually going to be filming. So
nice.
Yeah. So I actually went all out. I got a hotel room. I'm going to be there all day Friday and Saturday.
Oh, that's a super fun idea.
Yeah, it's kind of expensive. But,
sure.
Yeah. No, I've kind of have a little project going on with Stretch Armstrong. So
oh, cool.
I asked him to let me be a fly on their wall, and
I asked him to play. I was like, why don't you do Friends, Family, and Superfans preview on the Friday before? And Scott sent back a message, and he was just like, we're going to be rehearsing. Like,
yeah.
All right. Because they all live out of state now.
Right. Yeah.
So like, they'll all be flying in like the week before and just
not even that, like 3 days before.
Right.
Yeah,
cramming
yep.
rehearsals in as much as they can.
That's it.
But you know what would be a good idea is if Scotty did by invitation a preview of they're working on a new song. So
Right.
so maybe they could do a preview, like listening party of the new
That's a
song
fun
for those
idea.
bands. And that could be
we
post,
got
you know?
we got to hear kind of a
I
sneak
know, yeah.
preview of the song, but
Cool.
it's from, because it was one that Dan wrote
And
years
it sounds
ago.
like a Dan song.
Oh, it is
totally
a
a Dan
Dan. It is
Yeah.
so dripping with Oingo Boingo. It's not even funny, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
their little teaser for it, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like a Dan.
But
Nelson
it's one that Dan wrote
composition.
years ago because
For a movie.
a local filmmaker was putting together a movie and wanted Stretch to write an original song for it, and the movie never happened. And so Dan had this song that they'd written, and
It's sad.
it's just been sitting there since, like,
Wow.
I think he said like 2012.
12 years.
Yeah,
12,
wild.
13 years. Yeah.
So
Well, that's exciting.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be cool.
Well,
Yeah,
they're
I-
going to change the lyrics and then re-record it.
Right.
They're going to retrack it, but that's
Cool.
a great idea. And it's a perfect song for like a breakout, old reunion. I'm just pumped. I'm so pumped about
Yeah,
it.
me too. Yeah, it's
but,
exciting.
So anyway, so let's say you also you I believe for your job you're director of sales and service, right? And you travel a lot, don't you?
don't.
Like,
I don't travel a lot, but
oh, okay.
I do. I travel a lot to Salt Lake.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So-
travel every day as a commute to Salt Lake. Now,
Right.
Is that where your office is then, I guess?
Yeah. That's
So-
kind of an inflated title, but yeah.
Well, you got to inflate it, man. You got to look
Sure.
good.
If the boss will let you make your own title,
Yeah. Well, like, exactly. So, and you have kids, right? How many kids do you have?
I have four.
Wow.
Three,
you have
three
4
adult
kids.
children and then a 14-year-old
So,
who plays
okay.
the trombone.
All
That is
right.
awesome. I love. There's not enough of the trombone players out in the world. I swear.
No, it's been
we
really
need more.
fun. He loves
Cool.
it. He's in the Ogden High School marching band.
Is he,
Right on,
is
man.
he a big fan of ska music as well? I imagine.
He really is, yeah.
Okay.
Which he's probably my biggest ska
Buddy.
kid.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I mean,
your ride or die when it comes to ska music.
yeah, like all of
Well-
my kids like it. But maybe it's just because he's here. Still, and
well, and he plays the trombone. I'm like,
right.
it's like peanut butter and jelly,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
it's like
But he's super into like the
jazz
stuff
and
that
stuff too.
he is,
Yeah.
and even like band composition stuff, right? Like,
Right.
but he's super into like the Arrogant Sons of Bitches and like all of Jeff Rosenstock's stuff, which I don't
Okay.
know if you guys have ever gone there, but
I haven't.
so he was Arrogant Sons of Bitches and then bombed the music industry, and then
I have not.
and now he's in his own band, and he's an all-timer for me. Like there's 3 Jeffs as far as I'm concerned, and it's Jeff Rosenstock of the that fame,
Yeah.
Jeff Tweedy of Wilco and Uncle Tupelo before that. So there's my like country whatever dad rock roots, and then Jeff Mangum is the lead singer of Neutral Milk Hotel.
Yeah, I haven't
wow,
heard any
man,
of these.
you-
Like, I'm being just downloaded of just new information. Like,
Those
okay,
are the 3
these
Jeffs.
are all like things I'm gonna have to like review later and go, what was that band again? Let's check them
Yeah,
out. So, but,
I
yeah.
don't know.
No,
you
it's
should
cool. It's
definitely
great.
look at Jeff Rosenstock stuff. He's an incredible musician
Okay.
Absolutely, man.
and seemingly a pretty darn good human too. But
There you go.
Quick intermission, folks. We've curated a Spotify playlist called The Guest List, showcasing the incredible artists who grace our show with their talent and stories. Dive deeper into their music. Plus, discover exclusive tracks by Z Frequency. Click the link in the description or search for The Guest List on Spotify. Enjoy, and back to the show.
So, how do you like? What is it life like for Bucky Cash trying to juggle a full-time job, being a dad, and in 2 bands that are actively playing? You know?
yeah, it's a little touch and go at moments. I have a surprisingly patient wife.
You got to have one of those.
That's
for
critical,
sure.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who seemingly never tires of me saying like, did I tell you I have band practice tonight? No, you didn't.
She's like,
at this point,
"No."
I just assume you do. All the
Yeah.
time.
She just
And it's a
yeah.
pleasant surprise if you're home.
Right.
No. The MakeWays, so the Low Point, we try to play at least once a week, but like we have no recordings. I mean, basically.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask you about that. Like, where's the recordings, man? Like,
We just haven't been able to like
Van sessions, man.
Yeah, no,
well,
that's kind of it.
that is right now. Like, I think you even made a comment about
I
that.
did,
Like,
yeah.
was that you? Yeah, you're like,
I was like, that's why
so
we're here.
Where are you gonna? Yeah, you're like, well, we're gonna
Yeah.
just steal your recordings, but
the MakeWays is like, you say like active, and they are, but like we are. The last time I played with them was on April 4th, and we went down to St. George and played General Conference.
All right.
I love that
which
name.
Was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and it was actually put on by the like Trigger Locks guys.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So they live down there, and they have a little group called the Amusement Company, and it is like it's kind of like a record label, recording studio, and like live music venue. It's really cool what they're doing down there. I'm like, I want to do it up here, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't have the right skill set, kind of,
Gotcha.
or just
No, I
I
get
don't
it.
know.
You're in
But-
awe of the idea, but it's like I'd
Yeah.
love to do that if I could figure that out.
Yeah, but they brought Go-Go 13 to town.
Okay.
So Parker Jacobs, that's
God, I
the
haven't
one,
heard that
right?
name in a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So Go-Go 13 came and played. They were super fun, like really great. And then Andy Fackrell's band, the Late Shakers, also played, like the reunion set.
Right.
And then there was another band that was called the Gooblers. Do you remember those guys
I
at all?
don't, but I love the name.
I know, it's great.
The Gooblers.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Gooblers and the Late Shakers and the MakeWays played, and then Go-Go 13.
Nice.
So, and the like MC Bat Commander was in the audience. Even.
Nice. So it was some celebrity thing going on.
It was great. It was really fun. And then we went down and played a show in Vegas the following day. So we played our first and second road gigs of all time ever.
Right
on,
man.
As a band.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then we never saw each other again.
Now, up to date.
Yeah,
But it sounds like you're going to be seeing each other soon because you're recording stuff. So, but you don't have any shows planned lined up at the moment.
Right now, the only thing we were playing the Utah Arts Festival.
Okay, that's a good gig.
Yeah, it's kind of like a midday thing. I think on Saturday,
and
maybe
Salt
early
Lake.
afternoon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't. And that's coming up pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'll have to try to head down there and catch your set, man. I'm a big fan, man. The grooves you guys throw down, it's so much fun.
Andy's a really neat songwriter.
And not only that, man, but I'm a huge fan of your horn section. They throw down. They're all so good and so tight, and they've got such
ridiculous.
great energy.
Yeah.
And especially Grant, dude. He's
got a man crush for Grant.
Oh, absolutely, man.
He always talks about
because it's Halloween, dude. It's Halloween at Holiday City offices or whatever. That he let me borrow his wireless microphone.
Okay.
And he changed my damn life.
Oh yeah, those things are great.
I immediately bought my own, and I will never go back to playing a wired microphone for my trumpet ever again.
Those things are so great. And you're right. Like although I'm going to tell you who, like, I'm listening to these recordings that we're doing, and like every time I hear James Bradley play the bass guitar, I'm just like, that guy is so good.
We all have our heroes, right?
Yeah.
I think for me, like, I just have an admiration and respect for the MakeWays because they were one of the few bands that when Hooray Hoo decided to try and do reunion stuff, they were one of the few bands that's like, yeah, come on board. We'll totally take you in. I mean, Hooray Hoo kind of isn't doing anything anymore and probably never will, but I have a new project called Z Frequency, and I have no doubt that if I pitched to Andy or like the guys and said, hey, could we open up for you guys sometime? We're just getting started. I'd probably hit you up, Bucky, but
sure.
I'm like, yeah, those guys would totally be down. And we have a few other bands that'd be like, yeah, we'll support, but I just want to say, like, I love that the MakeWays have been around. Like, another band I'd love to see, I haven't seen yet, is called the Anchorage. I know they play gigs here and there, but I haven't seen them yet, and I would love to.
They're super fun, and man, you talk about players, holy cow.
Yeah.
Like, those guys are ridiculous. They're, like, really next level. I mean, like, the MakeWays are kind of cute and kind of fun.
Yeah,
but,
well,
like,
I mean, that's the kind of genre that it is. It's like popcorn ska, it's
Sure.
not, there isn't anything that's too outside of like what you would expect in, your, I don't know. It's almost very two-tone, kind of flavoring,
Yep.
yeah. So
which we all really like.
yeah,
Absolutely,
I mean, there's
man.
always going to be a lane of travel for two-tone ska,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy's favorite band is the Pie Tasters.
Oh, I love them.
So I'm sure you can
Right
hear
on,
that.
man.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny was when we were talking to Dan Nelson a while back. We were talking about ska and how it have the different waves of ska, and it comes and it goes, but it never really goes away. It's like there will always be. If you want, you may have to look for them, but there will always be a ska show to go find at some point. There's always ska bands playing. It is,
Musical genre.
and it's
Well,
that.
and if you want to think about it, let's dissect this a little bit, right? So, ska originated in the 50s, and it was Jamaica's version of rock and roll, right? So you're talking about like Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, those bands, right? You don't hear those on the radio as much anymore, but you sure as hell hear ska. It's one of those genres that
it's the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Let's be honest, but
well, you have no doubt.
Or no doubt.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no doubt. Wait, and Sublime, could
still hear
arguably
Sublime.
be the
He'll still hear Sublime for sure.
right. But my point is that it's been throughout how many decades is that now? 70 years.
Yeah.
70 years it's been playing, and it's still relevant. You'll still hear it on the radio. Like you don't really hear Elvis Presley as much like on the radio. Like you just don't. And ska you do. So I mean, ska is definitely battle tested, and people can harp on it. They can, piss on it, whatever. They don't like it.
And you know what? Yeah, ska may be the sound that plays inside a 13-year-old kid's head when he gets a fresh order of mozzarella sticks.
Right.
That's right.
But guess what? Who doesn't like mozzarella sticks?
And the world could come to an end, but who cares?
It'll be the ska-apocalypse, man.
Yeah, I got the ska-apocalypse.
Party at Ground Zero,
Oh,
baby.
excuse me.
That's
I think
right.
it's Scarmageddon.
Scarmageddon, yeah.
It can be that too.
I mean, and what other, you get so many play on words, right?
I know,
So,
it's so bad. Well, shoot, The Simpsons just did a ska episode, right?
Did they really?
Did they?
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was this very season. Shoot, man, I don't remember.
That's fine. I'll look for it.
like maybe episode 6.
Gotcha.
But it's just like an understory. Like it's not, the entire plot isn't about ska, but like
Yeah, it's there
definitely touched on a time or two. Yeah.
though. Well, and then what's that movie with Nicolas Cage, who plays Count Dracula or whatever, and they have the ska band that's a gang. It's like a
I have
ska
no
gang.
idea.
Oh, is that the
Is it new?
Yeah, it's not about him as the vampire. It's about his servant. Like
about his familiar?
Yeah, it's familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Oh
it
gosh,
called?
what's that called?
But there's a gang. There's like a gang, and they're all like into ska. Like they're. Oh my gosh, you gotta
heavens.
see it. We'll look it up. We'll find
Yeah,
out. But so
right.
anyway, what's next with You said with the MakeWays you're doing some music projects and stuff.
We're doing a recording for that 4 a.m. vinyl.
Okay.
So look for that, and then the Atypical Heroes will be on the other side of that, which those guys are super fun. And then I'm going into Orchard Studios with my rhythm section next week, and I'm just gonna go.
So
I don't.
You do
I
it
don't
backwards then? So like Andy's a singer, right?
Yeah,
So Andy did the vocals already and the guitar work?
we record drums, bass, and guitar all at once.
Oh, well, no, I get that, but
To
do you
start.
do that? But Andy's already got. So when you go there to do the rhythm section, he's already going to have those parts.
We're
down.
already done with that.
Okay, so when you said Andy was at Orchard Studios doing some studio work, he was laying tracks for something that it was already that has where the rhythm section's already
He's
done their
doing
thing.
some vocals.
Oh, okay,
and,
all right.
And like
but you had already
like,
laid that. The rhythm section is already laid. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like,
Yeah.
so
Right.
normally
Okay.
your recording process is the rhythm section first, then you go to the vocals, and you go to the.
That's what I've found to be. I mean, I haven't done a lot of recording.
I've never
but-
done any other way. So
Yeah.
I don't know how
Z
you would
frequency
do it
is
any other
way
way.
different though. Like, yeah,
Sure.
we go. I mean, you want to go down that rabbit hole. It's like it. We have yet to have a rehearsal or a song performed where the members that were part of that were actually in the same room at the same time. That has never happened. So
Right.
yeah,
Zach will send out kind of the bones, kind of a rough draft sketch, basically all arranged and everything, but he'll send it out, and then drummer will record his stems and send those back, and then whoever's playing guitar
Bass,
on the track will send
guitar,
his stuff. I'll come up to Zach's place and I'll track horns, and some of them we've had sax player, trombone player come, and we usually track the horn. We track all the horns at Zach's place,
right.
Yeah.
but then and vocals as well. But then but then it all comes together, and you know.
Yeah, it's weird how you can do that now. Like I actually released a couple of songs just under like my name, and I had
Old Buck.
I had the guitarist is from Sicily, and the drummer is Brazilian, and
Cool.
I
That's like a COVID project right
I
there.
hired him on Fiverr.
Oh,
Nice.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've actually I have like this weird thing. Like, I haven't bought anything on Fiverr, but I look,
You go just shop there.
yeah, window
window shopping?
Fiverr. Yeah, I go window shopping Fiverr, and I'm looking at dancers. Like, hey, we'll dance a TikTok to your song.
Oh
and
my
I'm like,
gosh.
cool.
Here's
And-
something that I totally I started down this path but never went further than a couple of messages. I wanted to rework like local Utah Ska songs into like more traditional Jamaican ska songs.
like recorded in a tin can.
Sure, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
just make it sound more like whatever, like Hepcat or like
Yeah.
whatever, like Desmond Decker.
Scatolites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to a few musicians on Fiverr just to see, what was out there. And of course there's people that I'm sure would be great, but
Well,
I
they
just
want the
never.
money. They're like, I'll play. Yeah, whatever you want.
Sure. And,
yeah, exactly.
And here, I mean, the thing about it is like, I've never like the stuff I did I felt like worked out pretty great, and so but I feel like you probably could get your money back or whatever if you were like really truly dissatisfied with.
Yeah, I think
if they didn't deliver.
Yeah, I think most people, most people selling their services or whatever on Fiverr genuinely are trying.
It's vetted. Like you're not going to be on there if
and they have like you can have you leave reviews. They have 1-star rating, 2-star rating based on their experience,
and you can listen to their stuff.
Right.
I'm telling you, this guy, his name is Ricardo Mazzaglia, and the dude is a freaking
rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
shredder, like just in like 50s style, like just like rad guitar. He sent me he did like 3 takes of every song and just like sent me all of it. Like it was
pick your favorite.
Cool.
We'll call it good. So how did that turn out? Like, where is it? Why how come we can't hear it?
It's on. It's streaming. You just
is
gotta
it?
vanity search Bucky Cash.
It's under Bucky Cash.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's challenge accepted.
Yeah. I mean, I don't love the stuff, but it's.
I never love my stuff, man. Are you kidding? Like, as soon as it releases, I hate it.
Oh, dude, it's terrible.
I know. I'm like, hey, and then you have to pretend Like you're excited about it because it's a
know.
brand new song, and you're like, "Hey, new song coming out!"
Listen to
Even
me,
though I've like
please.
listened to this 1,000 times, and
Yeah.
you know,
And
my
I'm
head
already
hurts
excited
from it.
about this song that I'm going to release here in 3 months that I'll be hating and sick of when I release it. But right now, I fucking love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Well, that's good. Like loving it at all is a good start, that's why I have the MakeWays, because I can love the stuff that they do, and then I can just hate on my own stuff.
So when do you know kind of a time frame of when we can expect new MakeWays stuff to be hitting the waves?
Our deadline to have stuff recorded is the end of July, so it probably won't be until
like end of summer, maybe October, if they're
maybe
smart.
like September, October.
Yeah, usually. Well, if it's vinyl though, like you can even might as well add another 6 weeks to that.
Yeah,
so.
I think that's with the additional. I mean, I really think that like Eddie is gonna. He's got it together. He's got
Does
a
he
plan.
does he have a lathe, or he sends his stuff out? And has
No, it's all. He's having it pressed. He sends it out.
And then you actually make these shirts yourself? Do you have a printing press at home?
No, I didn't make those. I actually have a cousin who is in the business. So if you need swag, but wait,
I will. What's that?
Okay. Do you do swag, Zach?
I don't, but Jeff Huso, a good friend of ours, he does. He just he bought an Amazon kit, and he just like loves it now, and so he just it's funny because he's like he doesn't have a lot of space in his house. Like his studio's in his closet, you know, and then his laundry room becomes his makeshift print shop, you know.
Okay, that's awesome.
It's great, and but
yeah,
no, I'll hit you up because I believe. What I want to do for Z Frequency is like we'll always have PODs, meaning print on demand, like people can go get prints and stuff.
Yeah.
But I wanted to always we're trying to make a live set together. So we've got a live band. Some of them, all of them have been musicians on Z Frequency songs at one or another at some point, right? But not all on the same song.
Is Wim in there?
No, Wim is not actually. So I had hit Wim up, and he was like, when is it? You know, and I'm like, we're gonna probably start in April. He's like, and this was like, I don't know, January or something. He's like, why don't you hit me up in April? You know, and I'm like, okay. So, but yeah, he's and then, but no, we have I have an old friend of mine that I went to school with, along with Mike Lomax. So Mike Lomax is our drummer. We have Greg Griffith doing the guitar. Another, childhood friend that I grew up with named John McCallum, who's a guitarist, but he's actually playing bass for this live project. And then I have Matt on trumpet, and then we have Mike Alesko, who was our percussionist, but he's like, I think I want to try playing keys because it's like, he was a mechanic and a RV mechanic. His
hands aren't holding up.
Yeah, so he's like, I need something a little easier, I'm like, cool.
And he not long ago had some carpal tunnel surgery and stuff like that. So something a little.
I worry about that stuff.
A little, lower impact for him and stuff like that. But it's cool because everybody involved has contributed to Z Frequency tracks.
Correct. Tristan Reeder on trombone, by the way. I wanted to squeeze that in before.
Yeah, Tristan Reeder. He's the son of one of my friends from my tailgate group. I'm an avid tailgater at University of Utah football games. So one day while I was day drinking in a parking lot with this old man, he was like, "My son is a trombone player, and he's actually the band teacher at Fremont High School."
Oh wow!
So he's in like. From August to November, he's completely unavailable because of marching band.
Yeah.
But I set this up so that we have backing tracks for everything else. Right. So like I can play a whole show with just me and Matt. And so, or I can have 3 members or 4 members or the whole band, So it's set up in a way
that's really interesting.
Yeah. So, and that way, because the biggest problem I had with Hooray Hoo, even back in the day, like even recently though, was like there's just and as a member of the MakeWays, there's got to be this frustration on some of the places that you're just like the stage is too small, like it's just too small to perform at.
When it limits you, there's a lot of venues you just can't play.
Right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know that. Like we're not getting asked to play a lot of shows. Is like to start. You know what I mean? But I like.
So
one of the hard things for me is like Kind of whoever, but
Oh, okay.
kind of mostly Andy, but also like the weird thing is that people like what will happen most often is like ska bands will be coming through town and they'll reach out
They
and
need filler.
yeah,
Or local support.
or,
they just need
yeah,
support.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And so
That's cool though. That's cool. I would be happy with
it's
that.
great. And yeah, and so we've played with some like really cool bands and yeah, I don't know, like I've never really experienced too many problems with like playing a teeny tiny stage or something like that. Like I think those guys are just easygoing enough that we just make
it work. Yeah, you make it work. And that's kind
I
of what we did too.
I think part of the deal with Hooray Hoo and kind of the one thing that set us apart from like the difference between being a 7-piece and an 8-piece is that our percussionist setup took up as much real estate as the drum kit did.
Well, not only that, but we had a whole other guitarist. So we had 2 guitarists,
2 guitarists,
right?
And so that was.
And we're just 7 pieces, but one guitar, one bass, one keyboard, one drums, and then the horns.
Like during the heyday of like the peak of Hooray Hoo, it was just 6 of us. So it was a 6-piece band, and that seemed to work out the best.
Right. It's just easier, man. Like fewer moving parts.
Not that I didn't enjoy having all the guys on stage. And I'm like, well, it wasn't just the original band. It was like every member of the band, except for like
because Wim and Chris didn't ever play in Hooray Hoo together. Chris was our guitar player, and when he left, Wim came in and took over the guitar spot for him.
Okay.
And so and then Mike was our percussionist at the beginning of Hooray Hoo, but he had to bow out. And so, and so he actually never played with Wim when Wim was in Hooray Hoo. So it was like it was everybody. It was the Hooray Hoo All Stars. Everybody that had ever been in Hooray Hoo.
That's super fun.
Except for
come together.
Yeah, except for Mike Lomax, who was the OG. He
was who all was in Catfish.
So with Catfish, it was me, Matt, and Dave Drake. So the horns.
Okay.
So it was the horns and myself. We had joined Catfish.
But then Brian Bedard, our drummer, had joined Catfish at the very tail end.
Correct.
Of
Catfish. We needed a new drummer because the drummer went on a mission, and so
so
that's when we brought Brian in, and then the bass player.
Well, we brought Travis Taylor in when Micah went on his mission, and then Travis left, and but Catfish still had some debts to pay off with the radio station.
He left on his own, and we brought Brian in after the fact.
So Travis left on his own, and we brought in Brian at the tail end. But originally, that was who was that made the transition into Hooray Hoo. Originally, the Catfish lineup was Cam Chamberlain on guitar,
Nate Tingey
Mike
on drums,
on bass, and Nate Tingey on drums.
And they had a female singer at the time named Stina, and so their sound was a little different. But she had left, so they had like a farewell show that she went to California or something. She was moving, and then the very next show at Davis County, they had a new singer and a new trumpet player and a new sax player, and these kids looked like they were in junior high, And they was like their first gig, and you could tell they were super nervous. They were reading sheets of paper and bless their hearts. But I already I had whatever light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, that's my band. I'm gonna walk out of here tonight with those guys as And I actually at the end of their set, I said, hey, who's the leader of your band? And they all pointed at Cam. And so then Cam walked over, and I said, hey, when you guys get done, taking your stuff down off the stage and stuff, meet me outside. I want to show you something. They're like, oh, okay. And exactly. Well, and it was Nate and it was Micah and Cam. So the other 3 members, I don't know what happened. They had to mom had to take them home. I don't know. But then I took them into my car, and I had said, I want you to listen to this music and tell me what you think. And this was like old Hooray Hoo stuff. Huh. And they're just blown away. They're like, what do you want from us? This is awesome. I'm like, well, here's the thing. I don't have a band. I have a singer, I have a trumpet player, and I have a sax player, but I don't have a band. You have a band, but you don't have a sax player, a singer, or a trumpet player. And they're like, yeah, we just got them. I'm look at them really, dude,
But do you really?
Yeah, do you really though? And I kind of came off as a pretentious dick, but I just said, look, think about it and let me know.
But isn't that who we were back then?
Oh yeah, I was so sure that was going to happen, and sure enough, the very next day they called me and they're like, yeah, you're in the band, and bring your horn section with you. And
that's like, awesome.
And that's how
really cool.
That's how the big Catfish blew up,
right? But, and then Nate went on a mission, so Travis Taylor joined the band.
After he quit Nine Spine Stickleback to join our band.
He could, yeah. Travis quit Nine Spine Stickleback to join Catfish,
and then he quit us to join 3-Word Name.
Yeah, no, Chris.
I haven't heard of that band.
Chris quit Hooray Hoo to join 3-Word Name.
No, it wasn't 3-Word Name. That was Think Tank.
Oh no, that was Think Tank.
Right, but
Travis
left to join.
Travis. So and then Brian came in, and then Micah and Cam,
and we had Manny Slack playing bass.
Manny Slack, who played with Swagger,
Sam Cottrell played guitar for a hot minute.
Yeah, and Sam was playing with a bread cover band called Toast for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a phenomenal now those guys were from Logan.
All right,
so were they?
Yeah. I think so.
I believe so. Yeah. Well, right now they're with the Highland Drifters, and they're really good.
Okay, maybe it's a different band named Toast.
Oh no! He's talking about Toast is like a tribute band of Bread from the big band Bread. They were like a.
No, I know Bread.
Yeah.
I just mean that there was a band that my buddy was in out of Logan called Toast.
I think that's the one that Sam played with for a little while.
Yeah, they were like contracted and like they used to tour and all this stuff. These guys did.
No, different band.
Okay.
Same name.
Just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Same name.
Okay.
Same idea. But then, now Travis is playing with a band called Highline Drifters now. Manny Slack, as far as I know, is still playing with Swagger, which is an Irish rock band.
Yep.
Are they named after the Flogging Molly album? Is that?
I probably.
I would.
Okay. That would not be very far removed from.
Right.
Correct.
But basically, Catfish was kind of falling apart, and we just kind of kept it together because of certain things that had happened. We had some outstanding debts that we were being held accountable for with advertising on some local radio shows.
Okay.
So we kept Catfish together to make some money to pay those off, and as soon as those were paid off, Catfish was laid to rest, and we revived Hooray Hoo. Because Zak and I had played as Hooray Hoo in like 90. Zak was playing as Hooray Hoo in 93, 94. I got back off of a mission and we were playing as Hooray Hoo in 95. And then we joined Catfish in 96 and up through 97, 98, we were in Catfish. And then once that was put to bed, we resurrected Hooray Hoo.
Went back to, and it was a different band, but it was Hooray Hoo and a whole bunch of new songs.
I remember that. Like, I remember kind of like the lore of that because
all over the place.
Well, sure. But I mean, like there was no online forum to go to like know everything that was happening or like to meet people you didn't know.
Word of mouth. Like, oh yeah, these guys are this, I get it.
Yeah.
And everything was flyered, like you wanted to show, you went and flyered for it. You know? So,
and pretty badly for our band, for Arrogant. Yeah. We just like, it was the early days of like Photoshop and stuff, or like Corel Draw.
Yeah. Corel Draw was our jam, dude. I made so damn many show flyers on Corel Draw 9, man. And Zak worked at Alpha Graphics.
Yeah, and we worked at Kinko's.
There you go. so you had the hookup. Well, I tell you what, one thing that I loved, one of the few things I loved most about Hooray Hoo was Matt was, at the time, he was really into doodling little cartoons and stuff. And he would make these little flyers that we would cut into quarters, and they were postcards. And we actually had a mailing list. And so people would sign up in the mailing list at the show, and then once a month we'd have our shows booked up for that month. We'd send out a postcard to them.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
nobody had cell phones.
Nobody had cell phones. Yeah.
I mean, hardly.
And I loved it because it was like, even though it was a postcard, it was kind of something you could throw away. Because of the artwork that was on it was actually hand drawn by Matt. To me, it was valuable. Like
that's cool.
Yeah. Corel Draw, it's like some of that stuff's like, cheap. Throw it away.
Oh yeah,
but I kept all of the I kept all those ones though.
Yeah.
So, and then Wim also was very creative and drew a lot of logos and stuff. In fact, the logo, the Hooray Hoo logo you see now was it was a construct idea that I had, but then Wim had taken it and changed it to kind of polish it the way it
Made
is
it
now,
what
but,
it is. Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
Yep. But
Neat.
yeah. So anyway, do you want to give any shout outs? We're kind of near the end of this.
The
and,
only last thing I need to say is about my buddy Davin Abeg, who designed that t-shirt that you're wearing.
love it.
And he also designed the album artwork for one of my streaming singles. And he also is in a really cool band called The Fever Drift.
Okay.
And
Can you find them on the streaming services?
Yeah, you can find them. And I just went and saw them play at the Ice House last weekend, and I
love the Ice House.
They're really cool. I don't quite know what to call them. In my head, I call it maybe like dark wave, but
I like dark wave. It's
I
like
don't know if that's
an
what it
electronic
is.
band or is it more
No.
like okay, so more like shoegaze.
That was the other maybe descriptor, but it's
Okay.
like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it feels heavily influenced by like new wave stuff to me, but they have like one keyboard, but it's
Gotcha.
the drummer plays it sometimes and like hardly at all.
Yeah, no, I get
So.
it. I get it. Yeah. No, there's nothing. Yeah, it's all good.
But
now, so.
anyways, that's my only other
Awesome.
shout out is just about him. He's a really cool artist and a
And
really
where
fun friend.
can people find you if they want to seek you out? Like, what's your handle? Just
I'm honestly like, it's maybe not cool or good, but it's just my own name.
Bucky Cash.
Yep.
All right.
So
At Bucky Cash. At Bucky Cash.
That,
Or I guess it
or
would be
it's
like this way.
low
I don't
point,
know.
the low point, it's low point SLC.
Low Point SLC is on. Is that Facebook or Instagram or who knows? One of them. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna. They're gonna be links below. So if you guys want to find it out, check the links. I'm
But
gonna leave a
you
link.
can definitely check out the Low Point on Van Sessions on YouTube.
That's true.
Correct. I'm gonna leave a link to
MakeWays
that as well,
are all over the socials
and YouTube as well. They've got
Yeah,
several videos.
I can't wait to hear your new MakeWays stuff.
Yeah, go
I'll try to
follow
make.
4 a.m. Vinyl and try to support those guys.
All right.
Because that's where it's coming out.
So, if you had to impart any advice for a budding musician just starting out, what was the one single big piece of advice you would give them?
Honestly, this is it. Like, music is life, but like, it's also just music. And what I mean by that is, like, I spent a lot of years being like judgmental and upset and like having a weird attitude about music, like just like being a music snob, right?
Right.
And like, that's not it, man. Like, music is expression, and if you can't respect the way someone's expressing themselves, then you probably need to look inward instead of out, because I mean, there's all kinds of music for all kinds of people, and you know, you're not going to like all of it, but I'll leave you with the parting words of my 4-year-old niece, who when her brother said he didn't like vegetables or whatever it was, she said, "Miles, we don't yuck somebody's yum." And
there you
I
go.
just think
Don't yuck somebody's yum, baby.
I like it.
I think it's so wise, and I feel that way about music too. It's like, if you don't like it, don't listen to it.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I mean, you have
like,
a choice.
Don't shit on it. Like,
Right.
somebody
because-
cares about it.
Right. And well, and you more often than not, they're really successful at it, you know? So
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the case for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I can think of genres that I don't enjoy and that I don't really even respect, but like, I'm not going to talk about it because
I just don't listen to that. So
right. Yeah.
and kudos for you
it's
for
not
making
for
a living
me.
at it. Yeah, exactly. So
Right
on. All right. Well, Bucky,
right.
It was a pleasure to have you on the show, man. We'll have to have you back once the later on. Maybe we can have some more members of the MakeWays and plug
That
your
might be
plug
cool.
your release.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe when we're ready
Maybe ahead of
drop that vinyl.
the 4 a.m. vinyl release and all of that stuff. We
Right.
gotta have you guys on to pump that a little bit, and then I'll do whatever I have to make sure that I am in attendance at the at the show, supporting that because
we'd love to see you.
Because you guys are a great time.
Look for us at Fork Fest.
Oh, awesome! Yeah,
I'll see you there.
You're going to be shooting video.
Well, I'll be all over the place on.
Okay,
but yes, I'm going to be trying to shoot some. I'll shoot whatever I can.
Yeah.
So
I'll look forward to whatever you got going.
I'll be in the pit for at least 5 minutes. Probably not that long. Probably 2, 3.
I bought a VIP ticket.
So
I'm
did
not
I.
going anywhere near.
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah.
Or I did. I think you did too, didn't you, Matt?
I did too. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Are you
so
kidding me? This is like.
Yeah, my kids got like regular tickets, and I got
one thing in the world that could get my ass to American
That's so funny.
Fork,
You're like,
dude.
hey, sorry, bud, I'm gonna come in and get dinner.
Oh, sure. There's dinner. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, there's dinner.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so if you go on Friday night, they serve dinner and they serve sodas. There's no beer. There's gonna be no alcohol in this venue at all throughout both weekends. But if you go, yeah,
okay. I'm just kidding.
Right, but there's gonna be sodas. I believe water too, whatever. But they do serve a dinner. It's probably like a sack lunch or something, you know. But then if you go on Saturday, they're gonna serve a lunch and a dinner.
Wow, I'm only going on Saturday.
Well, I'm gonna be there on Friday, and I'll probably
there to see Stretch Armstrong. Like I don't even care about the Aquabats.
Yeah, I want to see the Aquabats too, though. Like,
no,
I want to see all the bands, and like I know that I'll probably be filming a lot of the Stretch Armstrong rehearsal. At least spend some time doing that. If it
do you need a what's that called? An assistant?
Key grip?
No, it's a something A. It's initials.
PA, production assistant.
It's a production assistant.
PA. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Get in line, pal.
All right.
No, it's but I just if there's like a window of time on Friday night, I might go out there and just walk around and hand out business cards on the podcast stuff and talk to some of the bands that are playing.
Yeah,
if I can.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, so
you'll
see us. We'll be wearing
schmoozing.
Got a little business card, and we're going to be networking.
What hotel are you staying at?
I think it's
maybe you can message me if you want, but
it's in American Fork. I can't.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah, it's like Hilton. I think a Hilton or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like if we can turn it into like we also went swimming, then I don't know.
Yeah. No, like, I have no idea. Like it's for me. I kind of feel like I bit off more than I could chew because I had hit up Stretch Armstrong about like I want to film a mini documentary about you guys and post it on YouTube and about your history, and like the title is the second greatest ska band from Utah, and they loved it, right? They freaking love it. So, but anyway, it's just going to be talking about.
Didn't Dan come up with that idea when we were talking to him? Or was that your idea?
I think it was my idea, but he was like, "No, you go with
Dan
that."
Loved it. Dan loved it. That's what you got to call it. That.
Yeah, you got to call it.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But
and I'm sorry, the first being
Swim Herschel Swim.
All right. Yeah.
Why? What were you gonna say?
Well, I think some people would say My Man Friday, even.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I like My Man Friday. But yeah.
I think Swim wins just because they are the grandfather of
kind of
they
were the grandfathers of it. And if you don't know like the story behind Swim Herschel Swim, the underbelly, the brains, the controls of how that operated in the beginning was not even a band member.
You're talking about Dave Merkley.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know.
And
some of that.
Yeah. So and he's just such a creative, like I mean, just guy oozes creativity, even to this day. So
sure, sometimes not in the ways that I appreciate, but
I understand that. Yeah, he's very opinionated.
But I respect him tremendously.
So, but anyway,
Speaking of doodlers.
We have
speaking of, I wish I had a ray gun.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
exactly. He's King Doodler. But
man,
and then
Zach and I both have the poster from the Halloweener Dog show that Catfish played with Stretch and Model Citizen.
I have that.
Yep.
I have the No Doubt one that he did.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But then but we also have had Rick Anderson, who was the guitarist for the early
original
Swim
guitarist
Marshall.
for
Yeah,
Swim.
and he's been on a couple of our tracks. Actually, Old Dog New Tricks which is a ska song.
No, I've listened to it.
Yeah. So
well, and that was great because Rick played.
He did the
bass
banjo,
and
the
guitar
recent
on
one that just came out too, called
then,
"Wasting My Time." He's a banjo player. You should
That's
look him
crazy.
up. You should look him up. He might be interested in doing some banjo stuff with you.
Maybe I just I play the banjo a little bit, but like just a little bit.
He plays it pretty well. He actually
You'll
he doesn't
hear
sing.
I play on one of my on one of those tunes if you actually look it up.
I listened to the Low Point, and you had 2 tracks that I could listen to. I think
yeah,
Alameno
this is the
and
Bucky Cash stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I apologize that I hadn't done my research.
I don't put it
enough
out
for
there honestly, and the reason why I don't put it out there is because it's embarrassing, but also
Come on, man.
like it's seriously just kind of because of like band drama almost. Like it's
band drama. There we go. But you could have a whole TV series instead of the Housewives of Atlanta. It could be the band drama of Utah. You know,
right?
It's there.
Yeah,
so there.
Right.
So anyway, well, Bucky, it was awesome having you on, man.
Thanks for joining us, dude. It's good to see you, and I can't wait to hear all the stuff that's coming down the pipe and checking it all out, man.
All right, man.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks,
all right,
man.
you
See
too.
ya.
Peace. That was such a great conversation with Bucky Cash. Huge thanks to him for coming out on the show.
Absolutely. Don't forget to check out the MakeWays' latest single, We Are All We Need, and catch the Low Points Van Sessions performance on YouTube. Links in the description below.
And the next episode, we're talking all about Valhalla. That's right. It's a new upcoming rock band right here from Utah.
You won't want to miss it. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll catch you on the flip side.